roots of history run deep through Stafford, Virginia. We've raised leaders, featured artists, and honored those heroes among us. We've learned from the battles fought, and we look to the future with hope. We take this time to focus on what makes us exceptional, while constantly remembering where we came from. We're always open to fresh ideas and innovation, and savor all of the flavor at our fingertips. We find inspiration in our craftsmanship, and there's always a hidden gem around every corner. Find yours. Rediscover Stafford.
Good evening, everybody. Jim, what is going on, sir?
What's going on? How you doing, Greg? Good to see everyone tonight.
Did you have a good weekend, man?
Had a great weekend, and it concluded with catching some nice bass today out where virtually no one was out on the reservoir, so I had a good time by myself. Had a little summer rain. Yeah, I living it up. It was a good day.
Yeah, it's amazing because yesterday's bite was absolutely pathetic around this area, and then the cooler weather comes, of course, the day after we fish, and then the fishing turns on. That's just the way things work.
That's why I had to plan it. I was like, oh, money. Yeah, it was perfect. Yeah, nice overcast, light breeze. Yeah, it made for a good day. I was trying to get Mike Hogan out there too, but unfortunately he couldn't make it because he was still burned out from yesterday.
Yeah, it was rough. And speaking of rough, let's just go right into this first game we had, man. It was the Washington Warhawks versus the Norfolk Privateers, man, and it was a grind.
It was a grind.
Absolutely.
You should change your names to Mortar and Pestle. It should be because you were just digging in there.
Golly. It was tough. It was definitely tough. And I'm gonna bring on my teammates here. We're gonna kind of talk about this grind that we had and what's happening next week. But my boys from the Washington Warhawks, Will the Beast Brewer and Michael Hogan, man, what's going on, fellas?
What's up, buddy?
What's up?
What's going on, guys?
Oh, just hanging out.
Well, Mike, let's start with you, my friend. You were out there grinding with us, man, and we had the NVKBA tournament and all that stuff going at the same time, dude. And man, let's just be honest, man.
Let's sum up the Potomac River yesterday. Out of 47 anglers for the NVKBA tournament, only 60 fish were caught. And of that, I don't know how many people skunked.
Wow, really?
I was one of them. But the guy who won, wherever he was crushing it because he was like, oh yeah, I threw a 16 out. I called some fish. I'm like, what? I'm like, where were you that you called fish yesterday? Because everybody struggled.
He had a total of over 8 inches, right?
Oh yeah, he had
84 inches or something.
85 and a half. There were only two people who caught limits. The second guy who caught limits, he caught all of his fish around 7:45, 8:30 on the plainest of baits in a very well-fished area. He just got to the spot early, and he said the bite shut off for him by, I think, like 8:30. It shut off on him. So he had nothing then. He's like, I think he upgraded right at the end of the day. One fish, added 5 inches to his total, but I mean everyone struggled. The spot that I was at, we had, I'd say probably 20 boats for a John boat tournament, and those guys, I mean they, none of that. I think like 6 pounds won it or 7 pounds won it. I'm not 100% sure, but I know most of those guys didn't have big bags at all. Maybe 8 pounds at total. But
Mikey, and what was getting me, we were talking about during the tournament. Like you could see the fish on your live scope. You could clearly see what was going on. They were just lock jawed. And here's what got me: Eddie Butler fished the area that I was at the week before. That Saturday.
Oh yeah.
Or Sunday, the week before. He caught a 22. He caught a 19 and a half. He caught a 19, an 18 3/4, and an 18. That's like 97 inches. I mean, when you look at it, I mean, he caught his Potomac River personal best. And guys, I'm telling you, like the grass is just so thick you can't punch through it. Low tide, you might as well forget getting in that grass. You're just not going to be able to fish it whatsoever. And honestly, all I did, man, is I got lucky. I caught I actually caught 8 fish on Saturday, but 2 of them were small. 2 of them I lost at the Yak, and then 4 I put on the board. But I literally stayed in one spot the entire time. It was a piece of wood in deep water on a channel, and I spot locked the entire day. And it was brutal. It sucked. It was not the way to fish, but you had to do whatever it took to get to get the win.
You did something right, though. You obviously did something right.
Yeah. I mean, and we saw it with our competitors too. Our competitors. I mean, look at them when they put like 28 inches up. I mean,
well, I mean, here's
struggled.
Here's the reality for Norfolk. Look, man, they're in-state rivals. I love the guys to death. I hate them as a team. Let me just say that. You know what I mean? You have to, right? I love the guys, but I hate their team. And
payback. That's all it is. Yeah. Straight payback. I didn't even fish. I was just there for emotional support and cheering my guys on. But I had to come on just to talk smack to the privateers because that's just the way it is. You know what I'm saying? They're lucky that I slowed Greg down so that way they didn't get beat.
I gave him a chance.
You were paying your phone, Greg.
Come on, bro.
Yeah, we gave them a chance, and they didn't capitalize on it. So, but I mean, look, no one wants to win a game like that. That was not the way we wanted to see it, and that's not the way we wanted. Like the last team that came here, the Potomac River, actually did pretty well. I mean, we both caught limits. We battled it out, and we did take the loss at home, but at least both teams did catch limits. But you know what, dude, I'm not going to apologize for winning. I'm not going to apologize for winning. And we did what we had to do, and now Norfolk is scrambling because here's the deal, guys. Here's the reality of this. This is something else. If you look at the standings, here's what's just mind-blowing about this. The standings work to where if Norfolk took the loss this weekend, which they did, it opens the door for a lot of different things, right? Norfolk now is still in the 3rd spot in regards to the playoff position. However, they are 3-2. And if they go to the Tar Heels, they're going to the Tar Heels next week. If they go to the Tar Heels next week, guys, and they lose, guys, they're out of the playoffs.
Oh
my God.
Norfolk is out of the playoffs, and I'll show you why. It's pretty crazy. To even think about this, but let me show you this and show you this playoff scenario for the South. It's insane. So let me see here. Do this. Yeah, here we go. Look at this. All right, so Norfolk is 3-2, right? They play the Tar Heel Lunkers, who already has a win against Norfolk, right? So the way this works is the way this playoffs and how do you make it to playoffs? Head-to-head matters. Head-to-head competition matters. If you don't go head-to-head, then the win-loss spread is the equalizer. So Southeast Texas Rough Riders are at 63 points. Norfolk Privateers are at 227. So if Southeast Texas wins and Norfolk loses, they have the same record. However, Norfolk would have the win-loss spread tiebreaker. Arkansas Hogs are 2-3. If they win next week and Norfolk loses, Norfolk will have the win-loss spread equalizer unless they get absolutely blown out by the Tar Heel Lunkers. Tar Heel Lunkers will, if they win, even though their win-loss spread is -160, they have the head-to-head over Norfolk Privateers. They'll be 2-0 against Norfolk Privateers. So Norfolk has the tiebreaker over Southeast Texas and Arkansas. They're out. Norfolk, and it comes down to Norfolk and the Tar Heel Lunkers. And if the Florida Copperheads win, Florida Copperheads could win, and they're 3-3. So you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to have 5 teams that could possibly be 3-3. Norfolk has the tiebreakers over Florida, Arkansas, and Southeast Texas because Florida lost to Norfolk. That means that if Tar Heel Lunkers beats Norfolk, Norfolk owns all the tiebreakers over those other teams. They're all out. Tar Heel Lunkers could sneak into the playoffs by a victory against Norfolk Privateers. Guys, they have to go to North Carolina, and they have to beat Tar Heel Lunkers on their waters to make it to the playoffs. That is insane.
So that was a very lucid explanation of everything. And I was sitting here like, hey, you know what? I kind of got lost about maybe halfway through. Yeah. It's a lot to absorb. But I get what you're saying, though. In the end, if they can beat them on their own turf, that's going to be the way they're going to be able to get to the end, right?
Yes.
They can do it, though.
There's another interesting thing that happened today.
It's a win-in scenario. It's a win-in scenario only for Norfolk and Tar Heel Lunkers. That's it. That's what it comes down to.
But
what did you post on Instagram today? Maybe we should talk about that a little bit. What you post on Instagram today?
Yeah, man, I am now the owner of 2 franchises.
Yeah.
I own Norfolk and Washington. But it's all good. It's funny. But it's all in love. Now, guys, for us next week, we only have 3 minutes to talk about this. We faced West Virginia. I sent West Virginia a message. We might have a problem, guys. We were supposed to face them on the Shenandoah River. We might have an issue because they just issued an algae bloom warning to not swim or be near or have your pets near because of this toxic algae that's on that river.
Which is common for Virginia.
Which is common. It's kind of like a red tide effect for for the Floridas. But there's an algae bloom taking over now Shenandoah River. So obviously that's going to be a health concern. We may have to move waters, either Potomac River or Lake Mooney. Then we're going to go to the Potomac River. I mean, there's just no way around it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, so anyway, it's crazy. It's crazy. Robert says you don't own anything, bro.
Oh,
yeah.
Hey, you know what though? When they go to face the Tar Heels, I'm still going to cheer for them just because they're a Virginia team, though. Like, there's no love lost there or anything like that. Like,
absolutely.
We love the Privateers. We give each other a hard time, but if anyone's going to win, I hope
they're not in their division. They're not in the division. I want to see them do well. Although I do like.
But West Virginia is going to get a smackdown this weekend coming up, though. I'm going to let you know that right now.
West Virginia, the Warhawks owe West Virginia a whooping because they took.
That's another tournament like this weekend. The last time that we played them, I mean, it was horrible conditions. Low scores. What was it?
Yeah.
28-0.
It was 28-0.
Yeah.
Is what we played.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that won't happen again.
We owe them a spanking, and so Warhawks, let's go, man. It's next week. We're not giving up. We're not going to give up at all. We are going to try to, finish the season on a 2-game winning streak and start breaking some hearts. Because if we beat West Virginia's out of the playoffs.
Man, I love that.
The standard Washington, just beat people when it's most important.
That's right.
Hurt their feelings.
That's right. Listen, we are the Titanic, and y'all are coming down with us.
Oh yeah,
it's gonna work, y'all.
So, what does that mean then? If you have to change venues, what does that mean for the team as a whole? How are you guys going to address, and what's the battle plan going to be? Because you got to find your rhythm wherever you go. You're doing.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to change. It's going to change their plans. But again, we have to talk to Chris with West Virginia and figure it all out. But I mean, it's definitely going to change some plans. If obviously, we did verify that it is a true health warning. So it just happens. It is what it is at this point. I mean, we can't really do about it.
Sure. So what is the tertiary plan for doing anything like this? Does it have to be Lake Mooney? Does it have to be Potomac? Can it be?
Yes, it has to be one of the 3. Yes,
one of the 3 chosen lakes at the beginning of the season.
That's right.
Yes, I'm learning. I apologize.
Yep. Well, guys, we got to move on. Thank you, Warhawks, for coming on, man. Celebrating the victory, and guys, hopefully we'll have a little bit better results come next time.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take
Gentlemen,
care.
good night.
Laters.
All right, on to the next game, guys. The next game that was a really good game was the Arkansas Hogs and Southeast Texas Rough Riders. This was a lot of fun to watch, and we're going to see what happens with these guys. Come next week. But both these guys, and like I said, they're out of the playoffs. But you've got to You got to finish up the season, finish up strong. So let's get them on, those who participated in this game. We got Mr. Caleb Hellbig, and we've got Jordan Coffey. What's going on, fellas?
Good evening, gentlemen.
Jordan, how you doing, sir?
Good. How about you?
Man, we're doing good, man. You guys had a great game last week. I think we talked to Caleb yesterday as he was traveling home. Jordan, this is the first time I got to speak to you, my friend. Both of you guys had a pretty good day, man. Let's talk about it.
Yes, sir. It was definitely slow yesterday. Cold front rode through on us and messed us up, but we made something happen. I don't know how we done it, but we done it.
Yeah, man. I mean, Jordan, I got a question for you, man. I mean, you're on the Arkansas Hogs. Man, what was the key? You guys started off pretty slow during the season, but, man, you guys are just picking up pace and just absolutely letting it fly, beating some really good teams, man. Talk about what's going on. I mean, what are you guys doing?
Man, we did pick up a new guy somewhere along the way this year, and he's helped us out quite a bit. And
we just lost them.
It happened yesterday when he was on the water. Yeah, it happened a lot, actually.
Yeah, Jordan, come back on. Yeah, come back on. Good. Yeah. Well, Caleb, let's go to you, man. Let's see. He's trying to get back here.
I think he is trying to come back in there.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I can see him on.
Yep.
I had to turn my internet off my phone because I kept losing the connectivity as well.
Yeah. He's trying. There he is, Jordan. There you go, buddy. Sorry, man. Not sure what happened there.
Good. Yeah. The conclusion that it's my phone. Yesterday we could not.
Yeah.
I know.
Still breaking up. Yep. Looks like the hamster is dying on the wheel, man.
Right.
That's it. Yeah.
Pick it up.
That's right, man. AT&T or Verizon.
Yeah, y'all are breaking up pretty bad on me. I got good service.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Not for more, right, buddy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Jordan, we'll come right back to you. I mean, okay, Caleb, let's talk about the tournament you had yesterday, man. The game. You guys traveled up. I mean, it's pretty long ways to Arkansas from you guys, but went and fished Lake Conway. I saw some pictures of it, man. It looked pretty juicy, man. I think you said you were throwing a frog all day, man. It looked pretty good, man.
It's a beautiful lake. It really is. There's, everything you would want as far as fishing goes. There's lily pads everywhere, trees everywhere. Really pretty lake, but kind of almost makes it a little bit tougher to break down because everything looks good to fish. So you got to kind of focus in and find out where the fish are those days. And but it's a beautiful place up there.
Right on. Jordan, you back with us?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, my question for you was, I mean, Arkansas has really come on as of late, man. And I know you guys had several pickups. Garrett Morgan was one of your pickups. But it looks like you guys have, molded together well as a team. Corey Hooper has fished a couple of your tournaments. Yourself has really, picked up your game here as late. And you're beating really good teams, man. Is it just the acquisition of Garrett that made the change, or have you guys kind of figured it out and had better communication and you guys more gelled as a team throughout the year?
Man, I really think, between picking up Garrett and Corey, that did make a difference, but it took all of us really just trying to figure out how to work as a team and figure out who fished how and where to send people.
I'm sorry, it's Corey Hopper, not Hooper. My apologies. Corey Hopper. So,
yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah, my apologies to Kyle. Oh, he's gone again. Well, Caleb, guess what? You're going to be the star here, man. Let's get to your team. Let's talk about Southeast Texas, man. Caleb, let's talk about your team, man. On paper, man, your team by far, I thought, was headed to beat Lone Star and really challenge them for that division record, man. Talk about the good side of this season and then the struggles of this season, man. What do you guys attribute that to?
I mean, it's some of it's just fishing. I mean, the Bandits are an amazing team. I think we kind of weren't maybe fully prepared jumping into the full season grind by the time we got to the matchup with them, at least on our home lake. We had been fishing matchups before and stuff like that. Didn't get to probably spend the time that we needed to pre-fishing for that lake specifically, but it's just one of those days where I feel like every matchup we've had, it's kind of been tough fishing for everybody. Like even Choke Canyon, when Arkansas came down, the lake was just fishing completely different. I think it was the 10 fish we only had, but we've got a great team, and just the wins we've had have been good, but the losses just couldn't put all the pieces together when we needed to.
Yeah. This is not easy, man. I mean, this kind of formula that, you're talking, with these teams, it's, everybody has their own, strong points. Some of them are power fishermen, some of them are for finesse fishermen. And like you're talking about, the grinds are just so bad. Like I felt sorry for my team, not putting a fish on the board, last week, man, on that kind of, I think your first game from Louisiana, when they only have one player come down, that was awful. I mean, that game was so tough for y'all.
Yeah, they had a few come down, and then but only one of them actually made it on the water that day. But that was another one of those matchups where I don't think I think they caught a bunch of fish, but a bunch just under the 14-inch mark, and just one of those grinds where just couldn't put anything together on either team that day, and just real tough. But that's part of it. Both teams,
it is.
You're fishing the same body of water that day, and you're dealing with the same conditions.
Right.
You got to take advantage of it.
What do you guys both? This is Jordan and Caleb. What do you guys take from this year that could help you, not only from your personal fishing, but your team as a whole, to help you guys throughout the rest of the year and then into next?
It's definitely it's a change. You go from fishing by yourself to fishing with a team.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with fishing with a team, you learn new tactics. So, as far as fishing by yourself, new tactics that you learn from everybody else, you can carry on to fish by yourself.
Yeah. Caleb, yourself, what have you learned individually?
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing. Even doing being able to work with the team and see how different people break down different bodies of water and just different styles and techniques. And we've got some great people on our teams. Being able to learn from them, kind of pick their mind apart, and use that teamwork when we start breaking down other lakes and even our home lakes. It's been a great learning experience, and I think everybody's kind of learned some things and improved as anglers because of it.
Yeah, so, it's been fun. Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt you. So having said that, do you think it's a good plug and play experience for you when you're talking with your team and you're trying to figure out where your strengths are going to be with your weaknesses? So you can say, why don't we focus over here? Why don't we switch to this style of fishing? Just like you just said, you're learning about each other, right?
Yeah, and we all kind of know how each of us tends to fish certain bodies of water, and that was some of our decision making on who fished certain lakes and certain periods, I guess, of the season, was just knowing our strengths and being able to admit our strengths and our weaknesses, and being able to say those. I may have done good on this lake in the past, but so and so is just kind of on one right now, and they're able to do such and such, and it's going to be better for that lake that day, and work as a team and on the water, breaking down stuff, sharing patterns, sharing information to make everybody fish better that day. It's been pretty interesting, and I like it.
It keeps everything interesting to the point to where at any moment it can humble you again. Because let's face it, fishing is the great equalizer. It really is. It brings everyone back down. You could be on that cloud nine on that high that you're going to have all day because the tug is the drug, and then all of a sudden it's just nothing, and you're back down there like, not this again. No, don't do it. Don't do it.
No doubt. Caleb, you guys are going to Louisiana, to Toledo Bend. Are you personally going to be there?
I believe so. I believe I am, and I don't know exactly who all else is going, but
what a great fishery, huh?
Yeah, I personally haven't been on it. I know it's an amazing lake.
Wow.
And I look forward to fishing it. And that's another thing with this. I've enjoyed being able to. That's the whole reason why I got into tournament fishing last year. Is just forcing myself to go to some of these different lakes and be able to fish on them and learn how to fish them. But Toledo's got some huge fish in it, so I'm hoping both teams can put up a a big score and us win, of course.
Yeah, man. I mean, you're right. I mean, traveling with your folks, being able to go out there and just compete with your friends, and then finding new waters and stuff like that. I had a blast. I mean, again, our season didn't go the way we wanted to, and I would say, probably all of us here on the screen can say that. But the experiences. I mean, I got to fish St. Clair, man. I got to go to West Virginia, go fish, the river, and just go out in these different areas, and just have a bunch of fun, man. I mean, I never fished Lake Chesden, honestly. I mean, I fished it maybe once, very, very shortly, but here in my own backyard, and there's tanks in there, But I mean, again, it was fun, man. It was a great journey. I'm ready to just, kind of fish the season out strong at home and see what happens. Jordan, you guys, the world is looking on you guys right now because you guys could really hurt some feelings against Lone Star Bandits at Lone Star Bandit. I think they're going to Fairfield, if I'm not mistaken, for the last game.
Yes, sir.
Are you going?
I'm not.
Do you know who's going for your team?
I'm not 100% sure on who I was going. I know Garrett's going. I think Corey's going. Joe possibly.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say Scott.
It's a tall task, but my goodness, everybody is rooting for you guys on the South Division to do some damage in the Arkansas. They were becoming Arkansas Hog fans. Lone Star has been fantastic, and I know they're going to probably send out. They're going to send out some. I mean, the Fairfield's best, and to beat them the best on that water will be something special. And I guarantee you, the Alabama Hammers are absolutely going to be wearing Arkansas Hog jerseys when it's all said and done. So, Kyle says no pre-fish, and Scott Robinson will be there. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to watch it.
Yeah. And then Caleb, again, I mean, you guys are going to take out Louisiana, man, and that's. I'm sure you guys will be kind of looking at in the back, seeing what's going on with that Arkansas game. It's all in the same division, so I'm sure you guys will be following that very, very closely. So it's gonna be interesting for sure. So it's gonna be fun.
Both those matches are on Great Lakes, so I expect both of the Texas lakes to be putting up some big numbers.
And that's a great point, man, because you're going to be showcasing, Texas, at that point too. And, it's a tough time to fish it, but you guys have not had a problem with that whatsoever. So it's been fun to kind of see, man, and honestly, we're winding down a year that is historic for what Texas fisheries are all about. In fact, we had a biologist here, the Virginia State biologist. His name is John Odenkirk. We had him on yesterday. Jim was kind enough to bring John Odenkirk on. And I asked him this question. I'm like, is Virginia going to adopt the same share lunker program and the conservation program that Texas is well known for? And it's proven time and time again that they know how to manage the fisheries down there. I think that should be the staple for countrywide, about how, these fisheries and these places need to be run. And anyway, he did acknowledge that Texas is amazing. So, but they can't do the same things y'all can do because of the the climates and stuff. You know what I mean?
If I could real quick, I didn't hear the first part of that, and I apologize. I had to jump off for one quick second. But with John, we talked so much about how the different programs that Virginia brings. Everything is all going to be based and predicated, as you all know, on funding. How they can move the funds from one side to the other to go and say stock Lake Mooney, or to go over and do Lake Anna, or to keep doing these public lakes and these everything that has public access, so they can try to keep it up. But first, they have to go and say, okay, what is the current paradigm that works for us? So, for example, when they took, I think they took a Kentucky strain and they tried to mix it with the Virginia strain, and it absolutely did not work. The strain it died off real quicker. So this is why the F1. The tiger bass, as it's also known as, the F1 strain, within 5 to 10 years, that should give us a good model. And if they can't keep up with the Texas size bass and the Florida size bass, I mean, it's going to make Virginia a very strong competitor when it comes to any kind of future series with KFL. It's just going to take a long time to get there.
Yeah, we're trying to learn. We're trying to learn from you guys, and how great your fisheries are down there. So, I mean, people are taking note for sure. It's been historic. And Caleb, we've seen you throw up some of your PBs this year too.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I've had a good year this year.
You've had a wonderful year.
You had an 18 and a half yesterday, 18 3/4?
Yes, yeah, I believe it was 18.5 was my biggest, and then I had I think cut maybe 1 or 2, 3 17s, and then some smaller fish.
Yeah.
So note that those are still good fish. They're not the 22 and 23s that you were putting up, but they're still good fish.
Yeah, they are.
You know
well, boys, we got to jump over. We got to talk about your rivals. We got to go talk about the Lone Star Bandits and the Louisiana game that just came on. Guys, have a great weekend. Finish this season strong. Both of you guys, good luck, man. Thanks for coming on tonight.
Thank you, sir.
Best of luck to you guys. Great performance.
You too.
All right. Well, there's two teams, man. They had a great matchup. Looked like it was a little tough, but not too bad.
I can't wait. As we start to move on and we find out what's really going to happen. We whittle down to what's going to be the meat and potatoes for each one of these teams, where their strengths are really going to shine, and if they can actually perform when they're outside of their natural territory. As promised, we're going to be talking about the Louisiana and Lone Star Bandits game. Lone Star Bandits did take out Louisiana 190.75 to 173. And to join us from that game is the professor, Mr. Brad Case. Yes, sir. And, man, it's, Brad has been on the captain. He's the captain hat for Louisiana Hurricanes this year. And, again, he did go down to Athens. I think it was him, Big Mooney, Dwayne Taff, and I'm trying to remember their other angler that was on there. But anyway, they did not succeed against those guys.
John
Brad,
Mooney.
Yep, John Mooney, yourself, Dwayne Taff,
Jeremy
and who
Baker.
was the other one? Jeremy Baker. Yes, that's right. That's right. We had Jeremy on for quite some time.
So real quick, I'm going to jump in and say, gentlemen, have a wonderful evening. It's been a pleasure today. I have to kick off real quick.
Yep.
And I certainly appreciate the time, okay?
Thanks, Jim. Thanks for coming on, buddy.
Thank you so much. And best of luck to the future tournaments and the anglers that are going to be participating.
Yeah, buddy. Thanks, buddy.
Right.
Thanks for coming on.
No problem. Thank you. Bye.
Brad, let's talk about your season first, okay? Let's talk about the trials and tribulations of your season, and then we'll get into this game specifically, man. You guys have put together one heck of a team. There's no doubt about it. And it seems like you guys keep on running into one brick wall after another, but talk about it, man. Right now you guys are sitting, let's see here. You guys are sitting at 1-4. And again, you look at it on paper, man, you guys have a strong team. What's going on?
It could be the coach. I don't know. I meant the
could be fire the coach.
Yeah, but I know our first game kind of knocked us for a loop. It was during the Classic. I was supposed to be on that down there, but then I had to fulfill some sponsorship requirements up there. So I had Matt, Brad, and John Mooney down there, and it ended up Brad started to pass a kidney stone, so John carried him to the hospital. That left one guy.
I do remember that.
Him. But it's something to work with. I mean, we still laid in there, and then we had the next problem that knocked everybody for a loop, which has been satisfied and redone on the 8th against Lone Star. So we just pretty much fished against Lone Star two weekends in a row.
Yep.
And they were able to put it out at the lake we had chosen as a backup. It was not our original. It was like the 4th lake.
Nope, we're losing you, Brad. Must be that whole Midwest thing. Nope. Yeah, we've lost Brad. So let's.
All right, back.
Oh, there you go. Now you're back.
All right. It just made a lot of difference on how we felt on stuff, and we just couldn't put anything together. Go lay down. I got
yeah, I mean,
nose in my arm. It made a lot of difference. Go ahead.
What do you think you guys have learned through this process, man? I mean, again, you have such great anglers on your team. I mean,
I noticed in our group, John seems to be our
yeah, we're losing you, Brad. while he's trying to come back, let me just go over what happened yesterday in terms of the scoring. Again, 190.75, Louisiana's 173. But John Mooney had a great day at 163. That's a lot of fish, y'all. I mean, he had 21 inch, and then he obviously caught a limit, but his average, it was 16.3 inches there. But at 21, a 17 and a half, and 17 and a quarter was very well done. It did look like I was talking to Brad earlier today, and he was talking about how Dwayne was absolutely seeing tanks come through and underneath his kayak and not biting. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that this weekend, to where they're seeing the big fish out there. They're just lockjawed. And I'm sure it's very frustrating to that effect. While Brad's trying to get on, I do want to kind of talk about, again, the playoff implications that's been going on here. Brad's back here. Brad, can you hear me?
Yeah, that's what being the last house on the end of the internet line.
I got you, man. I got you. Yeah, we were talking about John Mooney and the great day he had yesterday.
It was. I went and ran the lake Friday, and once I got through running it, I'd already had spots and stuff. We had a meetup on through Facebook Live, and I put down kind of what areas were best. This area will be a good punching and all. Jamie said he had it, and I had one down by the levee. Dwayne said he had it. I said I'll kind of float and hit a few odd spots.
Yeah,
and that's kind of how we set about it. I know right at 5:58, I called Dwayne because he'd been not feeling right up good, just to check in and make sure everything was okay with him. He said everything's good.
Yeah,
got to run in with a boat, but everything's good now. I'm ready to go. I said, all right, we got 15 seconds. I'll let you later. Bye. Click the phone off. I hung, put it up. I stood up. I looked down. It hit 6 o'clock. I make the cast, bring it in, and bam, a 17 and a quarter.
It's got to feel good.
It felt good. I says, but it's the first fish.
Yes.
I hate catching one on the first cast.
First cast. Oh, man, that's terrible.
But I'm up here like, well, maybe. 2 hours later, I finally caught a 12 and a quarter or something like that. I'm more like, that's about right. And I'm talking to John, and John says, John, this is like 10 o'clock or so. I said, how's your day going? He said, sucks, man. I done hit this grass line all the way around. I said, well, or have you made it to where I caught the one yesterday? Not yet. And then he's mumbling on, and I was like, oh. And he pulls up one. He said, it's a good one. It's a good one. I said, is it really a good one? He said, yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. He pulls it out. And I think that might have been his 21 inch. It was that one or the two fish later.
Right.
And he says, oh, man. I says, all right. He says, these pictures are back at about 3 more casts. He catches another 16, I think. And we're still on the phone. I'm talking to him. And I bring Dwayne on. And we're kind of getting an idea of what's going on, see what we're doing. And Dwayne says, man, I'm still down here. I'm going to the other end. See what I can do about the time here. Ooh, another one, a good one. And I see here something like, no net. I'm like, what do you mean no net? You had a net earlier. You done lost the net? No. I didn't want the net to hit it, knock it off.
Yeah, man. I refuse to use the net because of that, man.
I'd
rather just thumb them in.
He pulled it up. He said, one of you need to come this way. I said, well, we're at the other end. I said, usually I'm the one fishing the shallow end.
Right.
And I'm not at the levee end. So this was an odd time for me, but I was trying to hit some of the coves in between and run them. I'd seen fish everywhere, bass, and they were good 20 inches, a lot of them. And John kept saying, I says, all right, get Jeremy over there to help you out and fish. And Jeremy didn't do too. I think he got a 19. That was the only fish he got over there. But he caught about 10 bass, and all of them before he left at the first part of the day, and all of them were under 14 on the chatterbait. Not chatterbait, buzzbait. Just like mine, we had these spots we had picked out that I'd seen a bunch of bass. The thing that hurt us, or hurt everybody really, it could have been a phenomenal, you think that was a phenomenal day, but at least I didn't have to chase my truck down the parking lot. But
There's got to be a story there.
Yeah, Jeff, I'll let somebody else say that one.
Jeff, how you doing, man? Congratulations, guys. 5-0.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Unbelievable. Now sitting atop of the South, and you have basically everybody's looking up at you, man. You win, you get home field advantage, man. You guys accomplished, I mean, almost daggone near impossible, to go against these fishermen and beat them. But talk about the weekend, man.
Well, I guess I'll start with the truck story. I got my morning started off as an interesting start. So we had Clifton fishing with us Saturday. So I had printed off some extra ID cards. I pull up at the ramp and Clifton's already down there waiting. So I parked my truck. I was 20 or 30 yards from the ramp, jump out and go hand Clifton his ID card and turn around. I'm like, where's my truck? And I look across the parking lot. So apparently when I got out, I hadn't finished my coffee yet and didn't have it all the way in park. It was in reverse. And so my truck is going backwards through the parking lot full of trucks. And so I kicked my flip-flops off, and as fast as a 52-year-old guy can run, I'm running across the parking lot trying to catch my truck to no avail. It wiped out 2 trucks and as well as mine too. So
my God, yeah, no way.
It was
my God. So, that's terrible.
Yeah.
The bad way is I had just walked by Jeff as he came back, and he stops, and I didn't even pay attention to him because the look on his face was like he's looking around. I didn't think nothing about it. I walked onto my kayak, got in it, and took off. Because I'm thinking, well, I don't know what he's looking for. He was parked right here, and I looked. I didn't see the truck. I didn't think nothing else about it. My mind was, get your butt in the water, move. Go.
That sounds like a Farmers Bureau insurance commercial, man. We've seen it all.
Yeah. I'm real thankful it was parked the direction it was. I mean, I hate that it hit other people's trucks, but if it would have been parked the other way, I would have been that that viral video of the guy's truck in the water with his kayak floating in the bed.
Right. The Miami boat ramp launch videos, right?
I don't know. He might have took out 2 of my kayak and Clifton's kayak doing that though.
Well, do you blame Clifton for that because he didn't bring his identifiers?
Oh no, it was me. I mean, I should have.
I would blame Clifton. If he would have brought his identifiers, that wouldn't have never happened.
No, I should have drank my coffee faster. I guess.
I guess, man, that sucks, dude. That sucks, man. Sorry to hear that, man. That's no fun at all.
Yeah.
But man, that definitely ruins the day. But I mean, guys, again, you guys are sitting really pretty right now, 5-0, man, and dominating the South here. But I mean, look, man, you guys can go to Arkansas. You have Arkansas at Fairfield, and I probably can guess what that lineup is. It's probably you, Brian Howe, Jim Louvier, and Derek Miller. Is that correct?
Do I have to answer that question?
No, you don't. You don't. But I would guess that's probably who that would be.
That'd be a pretty good guess.
That's what I would have put out there.
That's who I would put out there. No doubt about it, man.
Yeah.
But I mean, fantastic job this year, guys. And Louisiana, you guys are still fighting. You guys go, or you're at home at Toledo Bend against Southeast Texas. And then you, Jeff, are finishing up with Arkansas Hogs. And I'll be honest with you, man, there's a lot of people rooting for Arkansas, man, but you guys got to slam the door shut on them very quickly.
Yeah.
One thing I've noticed about your team, though, you guys get off to a very hot start every game.
Well, we knew going into Athens that morning bite was going to be key. So, I think we fished well, but I think if we would have got it in a slower start, we might not have ended up on top because it turned out exactly like that. That morning bite was absolutely key on Athens.
Yeah. Well, how does it feel now you have to root for Florida against Alabama this weekend, man? Does that make you all sick?
Nah, not really.
Because if they beat Alabama, you got home field advantage throughout the playoffs. So that's just the way it shakes out, man. So, but you got to take care of business yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
that's what we're hoping for. So
yeah. Well, Jeff, I'm sorry to hear about your truck, man. That's a terrible thing, man. But and Brad, thanks for coming on tonight, guys. We are going to be interested to see these games again this weekend, and can somebody defeat these guys? I don't know, man. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough haul. The Lone Star Bandits are absolutely putting on a show this year. And we knew that going into the season, it was going to be tough beating these guys, but we'll see. Arkansas has one last chance to do some damage, but these Lone Star Bandits are just they're not gonna lay down for anybody. So, well, guys, thanks for coming on tonight. We will see you this weekend.
All right, appreciate it.
Take care, guys.
See you, Brad.
All right, see you, Jeff.
Bye. Oh my gosh, that is those two teams. I feel terrible, man. I did not know that happened to Jeff, man. That's terrible. Man, wow. All right, let's see. Let's get on to the next game. The next game that we had going on this weekend was the Florida Copperheads and Carolina Castors. Man, this was a phenomenal game. This was held at Tenor Rock. Man, it was tough fishing. It looked like at first, but then kind of, the evening or the middle of the day came, and Arlie Minton had a real amazing afternoon and really start throwing up a lot of fish on the board. And we've got some of these guys on the line right now. Arlie, there he is. Stephen Bell, John Fox, and Heath Tatum are all on from Carolina and Florida. Guys, how are y'all doing tonight?
Good.
Man, let's start with the Carolina Castors. You guys drove a pretty good ways to get down to Tenor Rock. Was that y'all's first time down to Tenor Rock? Oh, Arlie, you're muted, buddy.
Oh, am I?
Oh no, there we go. You're good.
Yes, sir, it was.
Okay, and then there's Heath Tatum. How you doing, Heath?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm doing fine. So, I mean, Tenor Rock, if you guys don't know, is a very interesting place. It is a series of lakes, all separated, and I don't know how. John, how many lakes are there at Tenor Rock?
There might be 20.
There's a ton of lakes, and there's small.
A lot of them.
And you get to pick and choose at this little house. You get to pick and choose which lakes that you have if they're not overcrowded. And they're phosphate pits. And the freaking fish are just tanks out there, that if you can find them, which is a very interesting place. But Arlie, talk about your experience there, man.
Oh, I enjoyed it. It was a great place for us. Kayak friendly is what I would say for most.
Yes, sir.
So it was good. We had a good time. We caught a lot of fish. A lot of short ones for the under the 14-inch, but it was still a great place. I enjoyed it. I'd go back. I'd love it.
100%. Steven, talk about your day, man. You guys, I think when you came on camera, you had caught 2 on camera right before you came on, man. That was a pretty exciting time for you.
Yeah, I caught 2. And then after, actually, I had already caught 4, but only 2 showed up. And then once I got off the camera, then I just started catching them. Like, I'd catch a 15, and I'd catch a 17, and then I'd catch a 12, and it just kept going. And I kept having this one alligator kept running me out of the area.
Mm-hmm.
But the fish were biting, and so I'd go back in there after a while when he'd calm down and go back in there and catch more bass. And, I caught probably close to 40 bass, but a lot of them were under the 14-inch.
Yeah, for sure. Heath, talk about your day, man. In your experience down in Florida.
It was hot. I didn't really do all that well during the pre-fish, but the day of, I caught 5. 3 of them were big enough, and I caught a catfish.
Wow, that's pretty good there, man.
Got several hits at the first in the morning, but I didn't catch anything that went on the board until probably 11:30, and then I hit them back to back within 30 minutes of each other, and then it was over for me.
Yeah. Was this a punch and bite, or is this a move and bait bite for you guys? I mean, are you guys just kind of just throwing anything that stuck? Was it junk fishing all day?
It was about everything. Mine was around stumps and over the lily pads, dragging across. But the catfish I caught was punched. It was first cast on it, and
that's crazy.
I caught mine on a frog and a fluke. That's all I caught them on.
Really?
Bouncing across the lily pads, and they were just hitting it. I pretty much caught bass constant all day.
Arlie, you came on strong, man, for the Casters, man. I tell you, man, towards the end there, Florida was whipping y'all like you would never believe. I was like, man, here we go. You know, I think I saw like a 17-inch bass, and John Fox had thrown up 120 inches on y'all right off the bat. And then Arlie came back with vengeance and fire, man. What happened?
Well, it wasn't only me. Steven did catch the big one, but I had to, what it was, I ain't going to tell which one we went to. Anyway, you know, like you said, there's like 20-some lakes to choose from.
Yeah.
We had a game plan. We pre-fished, only got to pre-fish a few of them. And so when it come to game day, Steven and me talked, and of course Heath did too, I'm just saying, but Steven and him were riding together, so it was pretty much they rode together. But anyway, we had talked about just going to one lake together and all fishing it and putting all of our eggs in that basket. Well, we did that morning, Saturday morning, and I fished for about an hour, let's say 7, 8, probably about an hour and a half to maybe 2 hours. That lake wasn't doing it for me because I pre-fished a different one. They did good there pre-fishing. So anyway, I told Steven, I said, man, I've got to go to that other lake where I was at. So I loaded up and went to that lake. And when I got there, within 20 minutes, I caught my first keeper. And I was like, I made the right decision.
Right call.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then I caught another good one, and I caught a bunch of fish, but just like I said, that 14-inch got me. But other than that, it was great. I enjoyed it. Like I said, that's what I did. I made that choice. But Steven was just trying to help me because I agreed with him. I was thinking if we all go to this lake and we all hit it strong, like I said, I knew they did good pre-fishing there. And like I said, but I just made that decision. I better go because I felt like I was going to hurt the team staying on the lake with them because I was not having no luck there at all. And they was doing pretty good. I knew Steven was, and then later on, like I said, Heath started catching. So it worked good for them, and it worked good for me. So it worked out again for all of us. And I'm proud of our team, even though there wasn't but 3 of us down there fishing. That ain't been brought up very much, but there was only 3 of us down there fishing. So
yeah,
I'm pretty good considering.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I'm gonna bring up the standings here for you guys. I mean, you know, Carolina. I mean, you guys are 2-4. Florida's 2-3, and you know, both you guys can finish off strong. You know, Florida. I'll be honest with you, man. You were this close. If Florida would have won against Norfolk, now think about this. If Florida would have won against Norfolk, Florida would have had an opportunity to beat Alabama at Alabama and could have made the playoffs if Norfolk lost. That's how close that the season could have been. I mean, every fish counts. I mean, it's just insane, you know. And in Carolina, you guys have beat great teams. You did beat Florida, right? When they came up, right? Yeah. And so you guys tied head to head, which is no easy task. But it's almost. I mean, it's tough. It's like, you know, home field advantage matters. It matters in Florida. That is a tough place to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I looked at the scoreboard, probably about 10 or 11, it was 15 inches to 140 inches. It was a gut punch. And then by the time we got done, we were overall 9 1/4 inches behind. I mean, we came back pretty good.
Strong. Well, John, let's talk about that, man. You've had a great day. The Florida Copperheads together, Danny Gann, yourself. I mean, you guys had a great day. I mean, John, you came out firing, you know, early. We got you on camera, catching some fish. You guys came out to a huge lead, man. And I'm sure like you're on cloud 9, and then you start seeing the scoreboard kind of, climb up. What was y'all's mentality when you started seeing the casters kind of come back at you there the last hour?
I mean, Tanner Rock has been fishing weird lately. I mean, for the last like 2 months, I haven't been able to catch one, over, 20 and a half inches long. The bites are usually turning on in the afternoon. After 3 is when a lot of my buddies are catching really good ones. I went to that lake, and it was just a small lake, and my intention, I just wanted to put a limit up, and then I was going to switch lakes. Me and Sherman talked, and well, I was watching the scoreboard for a little while, and then I quit watching, and then I just got in the zone. I got my flipping stick in my hand, and it was all she wrote. I just started flipping the rest of the day.
Right. John, you do something that's unique at Tanner Rock. I don't want to give up too much of your juice, but you've said this on air. You like to crank at Tanner Rock, which is pretty unusual, but you are very successful at that tactic. What made you think about doing that? I mean, most guys are punching, most guys are throwing, creature baits or whatever they're throwing, frogs. But you do something unusual there, man. Talk about that.
I'm from up north, and I learned to bass fish on a river. So I like to throw crankbaits in the wood, and bang them off of that stuff. I can tweak them just a little bit. I've watched all them YouTube videos where you can tweak just a little bit to where it'll run off to the right or run off to the left.
It's called tuning the crankbait.
It'll hit them limbs and stuff. And
yep.
I draw so many strikes like that. It's just a reaction strike. And I'm very good at it at Tanner Rock for some reason.
Right. Hey, by the way, talk about that real quick. I mean, those who don't know what it means to tune a crankbait, you know what I mean? What does that mean, and what does it do to the crankbait when you do that?
When you tune a crankbait, depending on your line size, it'll make it run like to the left. It'll make it run to the right. You can even make it to where, the head will dip down just a little bit more, and it'll deflect off the rocks and the wood a little bit better, so it's not always getting hung up. I mean, you're going to get hung up, but when you can run that crankbait through that wood and you can bang off of it and not get hung up, a lot of times you hit that wood, you stop, and you'll feel it in the rod. They just can't stand it.
Yeah. So how do you tune a crankbait?
The little metal thing where you tie your line.
Yeah.
You just kind of twist it a little bit.
Yeah, bend it left or right. Yep. And it's opposite effect. If you bend it right, the bait goes left. If you bend it left, the bait goes right. So yeah, it's really, really cool. Those of you guys, there's a guy by the name of Frank Scalish that I would highly recommend you look him up on YouTube. He talks about tuning crankbaits and how he does this for all the bass and how it makes a huge difference because how it reacts and all that stuff. It's really, really cool. So
I've never even heard of such.
Well, we're here to educate, man.
Hey, I'm a pure amateur. I mean, that's just
it is. It works.
Nearly as good as a lot of these guys.
Listen, there's a guy that fishes in this league. He says this: never take a bait out of a package without modifying it somehow first. Right, Arlie?
Yes, sir. Yep, I change the hooks about on all of mine anyway. But everybody doesn't do that, but I do. I change the hooks on every one of them.
Whatever it takes, man. You never take the bait out of a package and fish it. You always got to modify it somehow, some way.
Yep. Hey, and I was going to say one thing too. Tanner Rock, if you get there early in the morning, it's a great place to sleep at the gate.
Yeah.
You would know.
For sure. Well, guys, we're gonna end this. We have 2 minutes to go with you all. How'd you like or dislike? I mean, just to be honest, what do you guys think about this whole KFL format?
I love it. I like it. Now it takes, like I said, everybody says the same thing. It takes a little time getting used to giving your information to your teammates, but
yeah,
there's no problem. And I'm glad when they're catching them. If I'm not, even if Steven had caught all 10 of them or Heath had caught all 10 of them, I was there supporting them and was glad. But I'm glad we all was able to catch fish and put them in there together. But like I said, that's the most thing learning. But as far as the way it's done and the way it's the whole deal, I like it.
John?
Oh, yeah.
We need I like it. I'm competitive. But from my perspective, I mean, if anybody's watching, we need more teams, because it'll cut down on traveling, like when our guys traveled to Virginia, that was 12 and a half hours one way.
That's brutal. Trust me, we know we're
going
to Michigan.
Just a few more teams in there somewhere, that'll kind of level out the travel. Man, that would be just so awesome.
So Georgia, South Carolina, North Florida, if you're listening, we need your teams. Tennessee, even that would be wonderful. So we need some.
No Real Foot Lake, though. Do not put Real Foot Lake on your list.
Hey champ, what are you complaining about? You won 10 grand at Real Foot. Yeah, no, I got you. Well, boys, we got to get out tonight. Thank you guys for coming on. What a great matchup. Finish the season strong for both of you. Let's see. You've got, I've got your schedule here. Florida, you have Alabama coming to you, so you finish at home. And Carolina Casters, your season is done.
Yep, we're done.
Yeah, well, 2-4 is your season. So, guys, congratulations on a good season, man. I mean, you guys got to fish some great fisheries, and you did win two good ones. So, congratulations on your season, guys.
Thank you.
Take care.
All right. See y'all.
All right. The Casters in Florida. There they are. And we're going to finish out with the last game. That was our evening game. And that was, it's going to be West Virginia hosted Michigan. And West Virginia is the winner. Michigan took their first loss here this past weekend. And we're going to talk about that is George Nemeth, who got the big bass out of that river, and Zach Solaire. Gentlemen, how are y'all doing tonight?
Doing well. How about you?
Yeah, not too bad.
Good deal, man. Let's talk about this. We talked, and you guys got to have a little bit of experience about. We fished the Greenbrier River, and y'all fished the New River. We're kind of they confluence one another, right? They merge into one another, and we had the opportunity to fish Greenbrier. We fished a total, I think, between two teams, over 20 miles of the same river, and we did not put a scoreable bass up. We blanked. We caught 67 fish, and they caught 2. Okay, little frustrating. We're like, okay, that may be, it's just one of those days, one of those things. But y'all kind of experienced the same thing, man, at the New River. What happened?
I think they call it the New River because if you're going to go fish it, you got to pick a new river.
That's right.
Well, I'll say one is that it's a lot more beautiful than it fishes.
Yeah, it was gorgeous. The scenery was fantastic, and I didn't get a chance to check the whole entire river for the places that we were going, but there were some beautiful waterfalls, great scenery, and very picturesque. And
it's gorgeous. I mean, you're like you're talking about. It is. It's tranquil. It's beautiful nature and everything else.
And
man.
People we ran into at gas stations, restaurants, wherever, all very nice, kind. Just good. Country folk and hill folk, and treated you well. And a lot of people just willing to talk and chat, talk about nothing, and I can do that. So
yeah, boys. I mean, look, I don't know about you guys, but I was a river fisherman. I kind of grew up on the rivers and smallmouth fishing, and to go to this river, especially like the Greenbrier and the New. I mean, I've seen them both, and it just looks to your eye that there has to be freaking big bass here. There has to be. I mean, like it's textbook, right? And then you go there and you're throwing stuff in there and they're just not biting. And you're getting dink after dink after dink after dink. I mean, that just tears your soul apart, man. You're like, where are these big fish, man? They've got to be here.
I know I was within 50 feet of big ones and just couldn't unlock it for whatever reason. And I grew up on rivers, smallmouth fishing, whether it was wade fishing, canoe, it just what have you. And there's a few things I have in the bag that'll unlock them, and just it didn't matter. It was just it was a tough bite. I had one day of practice. Zach got down there, found an area, and we got there. I was like, I don't need to go anywhere else. This is fantastic. But I kind of prepared a little differently. I prepared for the whitewater rapids, so to speak, and wading and tying off my boat to me and walking up and down different steps and stuff like that. And so I had an Outback that's great for that. And I really wished I had my PA for that particular location, just because just different electronics, any electronics would have been extremely helpful. But fortunately it was a team event, and being able to say, hey, Zach, let me know when you hit the channel edge. Okay, cool. And then let me know when you hit the channel edge on that side, and being able to visualize stuff. It was an excellent Vanna White for unlocking what's where and helping visualize it and working together in that aspect. And we fished the same area, found a spot in practice that just had fish, held fish, and kind of got onto something I was excited to take into tournament day, because in an area I caught a 14 and a half and a 14 and a quarter, and that's up from the the 10s, 11s, 12s that we were catching. And I was like, not touching them anymore. We'll come back, and if they're there tomorrow, the little bit of rain we got changed the conditions wise. A little bit of rain we got dirtied the water a little bit. Our area stayed pretty clear, but it did change a little bit. Water came up a smidge, and when we found where some of those fish were, they shrunk. Man, it got cold, I guess, because they're all 13.75.
Brutal.
I don't know how many. I don't know how many between the three of us that were fishing that area. I don't know how many 13.75s we had, but I mean, you just couldn't sit there and stretch them I think between me, George, and Eric, we're fishing all within probably 200 yards of each other in this stretch. And I think if those 13 7.5s would have been that quarter inch bigger, the three of us would have put up 10 fish at 14 inches.
Oh, easy, yeah.
Wow.
Easy.
But
for want
you know,
of, just that, and it was tough. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was tough. We caught lots of fish. I mean, for the abbreviated fishing day I had to leave a smidge early and get off the water a little early to make it to work today. But in order to make all the travel work, but it was. For what we had, I wished I could stay. I wished I could have had another day or two to kind of figure it out, because it left the competitive fire well stoked, because it's like I can do better than that.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I felt the same way, guys. I mean, seriously, I'm like, all three of us. So there was only three of us that came down, and I just felt like, man, I know that according to what they said, we fished the best part of that river, and it's like, how in the world can not a single scoreable bass come out of here after 67 fish that we went through, and we did everything we thought was right. I mean, I did everything that I thought was visually right to do, through everything I could. I mean, it's just, I just was
every time you turned
dropped
around, you saw Zach hooked up, you saw Eric Palenz hooked up. I had a fish, and and right off the bat got into them, and in that same area where the bigger ones were, and I didn't catch. I fished an area, and I caught two keepers, and no smalls doing the thing that I was doing.
Yeah.
And I felt good about going into the next day, and they were just boom, 13.75, 30. I don't know if it was a Costanza. I was in the pool, kind of thing for them or whatever. So water cooled down, they shrunk up a little bit or something, but it's heartbreaking because you're there and you're getting them, and you're just trying to make it work, and just it didn't matter how much you massage them. I know in the 5 hours that I was able to fish, or 5 or so hours that I was able to fish, I caught 30 fish. At least, and I know Zach and Eric probably caught the same amount, because they were just
wow.
It was pretty constant, pretty good catching, and it didn't matter where you were; they were everywhere. I mean, I fished,
it didn't matter what you were throwing either.
Breaks, yeah, and they weren't all that. I mean, they did all the thing river smallmouth should do, and I caught them in the white water, behind boulders, down rapids and stuff like that. They were everywhere, and just
we were fishing. We pre-fished right below a waterfall, and we were catching fish in the waterfall.
Yeah, it's like salmon jumping.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
Let's see if the big ones are sitting here in a current break, and and that kind of stuff. Where you got your magic boulder here. Well, if you're fish the boulder next to it, that's not magic, and it's just. It was heartbreaking, and the one big fish we caught, Zach, was actually I rolled up on him because I watched him hooked up with a fish, and I rolled up to see what it was, and it was another 12.75 to 13.5, whatever it was, and just like, you mind if I throw out here at this spot, because he's doing something a little different. I throw out there and just your textbook place, and bring my bait around a rock and thump. And I'm like, oh, this is a big one, and I said the same thing yesterday when I caught the 14 1/4s and 14 1/2. I was like, "Oh, these are big," because they were a different deal. And this one came up. We both got a chance to saw it. Gave us a little pitter patter in the heart, because it was a St. Clair sized smallmouth, and a giant compared to what we'd been seeing for a few days. And it jumped at the boat, and your heart skips a beat, and you're like, "Yeah."
No, please don't, God, please. This is the only fish I've caught all day.
Yeah, so
I was sitting about. I was sitting about 3 feet away from him with my net ready, just in case it spit the hook and jumped my direction. I was gonna try to reach over and grab it.
He's like, I'm going in. I'm gonna dive in after this one.
Oh my gosh, this is horrible.
It was fighting so big. I'm just like, this is a cheap head. It's a wallet. It's something.
Yeah.
Like, of course, it ends up being a decent smallmouth, and I'd never been that happy to get an 18 1/4 on the boat.
Oh man,
it was a woo. You heard it all the way down the holler.
Eric was at that point. Eric was about 200 yards upstream from us, and he's like, I heard everything you guys were saying to each other.
Yeah, I mean,
we might have even given each other a high five.
I'll be honest with you, I would have died for. I would have killed for a 18-inch bass when we faced West Virginia. I was dying for something like that to happen, man. I had a buzzbait down like a rock wall, and I was throwing it down there early. I mean, super early, like when we first launched, and I had a blow up, man, and it was a big freaking bass. It just missed it. It like kicked the buzzbait up out of the water. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a great day, man. If these are fired up like this. Boy, was I wrong, man. I mean, it was just I just couldn't get him to bite, man.
I got super excited right at the end of the night. I was throwing a jig in, and it was like 6:15. I was thinking maybe this bite's gonna turn on right at the end of the night, and I felt something just thump that bait, and I started pulling it in. There was about 1.5 foot wide snapping turtle sitting on the end of my jig.
That just adds insult to injury, man.
Yeah, and at that point, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to tie a fluke on and keep it away from the turtles.
And between and he had another nice one that was pull and drag. It ended up being a really good sized trophy stick.
Yeah, it was
3-pounder.
The 3-pounder.
Yeah, and the thing is, it was stuck in the current.
In the current,
was fighting.
Oh, in the current, it's amazing fight.
I was like, oh, this is
right off
it's
these
moving.
little basketball
It's
size
moving.
boulders we were fishing,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, oh, this thing is moving. It is something. And then I pull it up. I'm like, oh, it's a stick.
It's like,
we even took the picture of it. I thought about putting it on the board.
We got the trophy picture of that one.
Well, guys, we have 4 minutes. We will talk about the reality of this, what it did for y'all, and what it means to the North. So we're gonna pull up the standings, guys. Rhode Island Rebels take the lead in the North only by points. Now, listen, we're gonna go over this playoff implication here. Rhode Island Rebels and Massachusetts Maulers face each other Saturday. It is at Rhode Island. If Massachusetts wins, they win the North. They will take full control. Everything will go through Massachusetts. Rhode Island will then either drop down to 3rd or Motor City. If you guys beat Indianapolis at Indianapolis, you guys can move into 2nd. You then would, if you guys win and Rhode Island loses, you guys would host Rhode Island, possibly, or West Virginia. It all depends at your place. Now, West Virginia is coming to Washington. If West Virginia beats Washington, and it looks like if it's West Virginia, here's what can happen. West Virginia wins. If Massachusetts Maulers lose, West Virginia could take that spot. If you guys win over Indianapolis, then you could either be 2nd or 3rd. So, I mean, it's a crazy scenario, whatever happens. So, guys, I hope you guys are rooting for the Washington Warhawks, because
I'm a Warhawks fan, man.
As I say, if we take out West Virginia, they're gone, and then you guys are guaranteed a playoff spot. But you guys can get bounced out.
On the Potomac. We got spots on the Potomac for you. You know about them.
Well, see,
you saw that firsthand.
Yeah, but here's our problem.
Yeah.
So we were going to go to the Shenandoah River. We just got word today that there's an algae bloom breakout on the Shenandoah River. So that could change the venue. It's probably going to change the venue. It's going to have to, from the Shenandoah River, because we don't want to have a health issue, to the Potomac River.
A little bit of that at Manitou, Indy's home field.
And
we're dealing with that at Niona a little bit.
Yeah.
The series I run.
Yeah, and so West Virginia, as I said, West Virginia is coming here. They have to win, and then West Virginia's going to have to root for Indianapolis to beat y'all. So, I mean, y'all's destiny is still in your hands. But the way this works, man, guys, and look, you guys were like sitting on top of the North. Unfortunately, if you guys lose, you could be bounced out of the playoffs. I mean, it depends on what West Virginia does. It's insane. That's how bad this. I mean, that's how crazy this.
There were some gregreat guys. They were great to hang out with, have dinner, drinks with when they came up to St. Clair. But go Warhawks.
Yeah, we're gonna try. We're gonna try, man. But no pressure, man. We're gonna do everything we can.
Luck. We're all counting on
you.
And we're gonna go into Indianapolis the same way we go into every game. We're going there to win. We're not going there just to have fun and hang out with people. We're going there to win. We're going there to solidify our playoff spot, and wherever we have to go to fish, we're going to be going there to win too.
Now, George, are you going to be part of this Indianapolis game?
Yeah.
I was going to say, because that's your home state, isn't it?
It's in my backyard for Lake Niona. It's just down the way from them in Rochester.
I think we got our roster already ready to go for that one.
You want to announce that, Zach?
I don't know, George. Yeah, set. Okay. It's going to be George Nemeth, Mr. Jeff Fader, Smooth Net Fader.
Oh, Fader's coming. Okay.
Fader's going to be there. We'll have Mr. Matt Linsman and myself.
There you go. They're coming after you guys, Indianapolis, man. They're not playing games. And one thing you do have is George, and that knows that area very well. So it could be very much a road victory for these guys. They're not happy. I can tell you that right now. They're not happy with what happened in West Virginia, but they want to finish this season strong. Guys, we're going to do everything we can. West Virginia's a hard team, man. They travel well, and they've proven that. They're great anglers.
Yep.
As I said, we're going to have to see what happens, man. So
yeah, great anglers, great guys, and tough fishery.
Yes, very, very tough. That's one of the toughest home places to go is at West Virginia, man. It's going to be tough. But and then again in Indianapolis, they have a great team too at home, so it's gonna be tough. I think it's gonna come down to the last hour for you guys, like it did last time. And you guys took that victory over Indianapolis. So, well, guys, thanks for hanging out tonight, man. This playoff push is going to be crazy. The destiny is in all y'all's hands who are there. Again, Rhode Island could be taking the entire playoffs through Rhode Island, or they can be down to either second or third. Massachusetts Maulers, they can have 2 losses when it's all said and done. I mean, a lot of things can happen, y'all. So, I don't know. A lot of playoff implications going on next week, so we will see.
The greatest part.
This is exciting, guys. This is the way it's supposed to be. Everybody's supposed to control their own destiny to the last game, and this is how it's exciting.
We'll have to work harder next year.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Sweating it out for the birds, man.
Exactly. Well, boys, have a great night. We will see you guys later. Thanks for coming on.
Have a good one, Greg. Thanks for having us.
Thanks, man. Well, that's it for the KFL tonight. Next week, we're going to actually do a playoff show probably Thursday or Friday night to get ready for the weekend. Stick with us, guys. We're going to have a good time, talk about it. I'm sure Robert will be on. He wasn't able to come on tonight. We want to hear from the Norfolk Privateers, see what their plan is and see how they're sweating it out and all that stuff. The drama is unfolding in front of us all for next weekend. And a lot of these anglers are going to be doing a lot of map study and getting ready for this next weekend, guys. I wish it was here already, man. I want to get back on the water so bad and do this again. So, guys, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Y'all have a great night. Be safe this week, man. And those who are traveling, take care and don't let your truck fall and hit in reverse and start hitting other trucks. That's probably a bunch of good idea if you don't do that. So, anyway, guys, have a great night. Take care. See ya.